one of the first services which was launched by AWS in 2006. Okay, so what is the full form of S3? It's a simple storing service. Okay, full S3. Said that S3 is again a global. So in the console, you can't select the S3, which region you want to go. Okay, you can see you can't select anything, but can create S3 in different regions. How? Okay, AWS S. Uh, okay, so you are creating a bucket. Just imagine are just equivalent to a drive in your local, right? You have C drive, you have D drive, you have E drive, right? Just imagine bucket means in S3 there are concept of bucket and files. Okay, in S3 it's a bucket and object. Okay, or some people say key, bucket and key. Okay, so imagine bucket right now. I'm talking about bucket. So bucket basically imagine it like a uh, drive in your system. Okay, you can see most of the time the symbol is bucket. S3 symbol is bucket. Okay, so in your local you have C drive, D drive, or any external drive, right? So just imagine that I'm creating a drive. So let's give the name. Oh, that's a tricky one. Parag radical. Okay. One problem with the name is that name is global. As I said, S3 bucket is global, right? It is not region specific. Okay. So if I try to create a test, let's try test bucket. You will get an error. Okay. And your bucket, though it is a global, name is global, but you have to select in which region you have to create this bucket. Means the data center where this bucket should be located, which data center. So we will choose Mumbai because it's near to us, right? Every data will be stored in this data center in this region. Okay. Let everything as it is, versioning optional, everything. So let's try to create. So see, I got an error. Bucket name is already exist. I don't have any bucket name in my account. Bucket with test. Do we have any bucket in our account right now? See, no bucket. But still, I'm getting an error that bucket is there. Radical. I know. I think this will be also will be there. See. So the name is global basically. So S3 bucket name is global. It should be always be unique. Bucket name must be unique and cannot contain space or upper letter. This is also a question asked in exam generally. Okay. So the name is global. So let's give me some ridiculous name to it. Radical Mumbai, yeah, or AP South one. Generally, in our organization or many organization, the bucket name is are attached to the region in which it is created. Okay, let's try this. Okay, it is created. So in S3, S3 console is global, but bucket is created in Mumbai region. Okay, so I have created a drive. You can see the drive, right? This is my S3 bucket. It is created and date is here. I have created it. Okay, and let's upload a file here. Okay, add a file. Let's upload that PPT. Everything as it uploaded. Depending on the internet connection or the bandwidth you have, it will upload the file. So the file is uploaded. You can see the file now here. Okay. So what is S3 bucket? Basically, it's a storage. Okay, in S3 we have a bucket and we have a object. Okay, so in I have created a bucket. In bucket you can store as many files as you want, just like a drive in local drive, right? You are creating C drive, D drive, E drive. So we I have created a bucket, and in that bucket I can create any number of files, and I can upload any number of files. So that is how the bucket and the files are working. Okay, but if you try to access this file, you can't read it here. You can see you can't read the file. No information will be given about the file, content of the file. Okay, so in S3 every file is stored as an object. Object means uh, in your local system, file system, the files are stored in blocks or in binaries. You know that in your hard disk every file are stored in block. Okay, but here it is stored like a object. Object is basically it is pointing what do you say, Java objects. Java are creating objects of your code. It's a virtual type of things. It's a template of your file. So S3, it's not a block storage, it's an object storing device. So whatever the name of your file is there, it acts as a key for the your file, and it is stored as an object. So you can't directly go and access the file. You have to download the file and then only you will be able to read, because you require a system to read. S3 is just a storage. It's not a operating system or anything. That's why we can't read the file. Getting? So this is the question, or it is you have to keep in mind the S3 is an object storing device. Okay, that offer industry leading scalability, availability, and security. We'll come to this three to four things, but the main point is we have S3 has a bucket and it has an object. Okay, I told you about the object. So object is basically, this is the object. You can see. I don't know, object, right? See, object overview, object manager, object. So it is not a file right now. Though we consider this is a file for S3, for AWS, this is an object. You have put it in technically, it's object, and this is a URL for it. If you try to access this right now, I think it won't work because I have given the public access. See, it is not publicly available. Okay, okay, and this is the URL of your S3 bucket. So you can see this is the bucket name, parag underscore parag hyphen radical hyphen ap, and this is your object name, or for simple words it's a file name. So this is how your object URL is created. Okay, so what is key now? Let's create it. No, 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 I don't want to create folder. Test. Again, create a folder. Test 2. Again, create a folder. Test 3. Now upload a file here. So I have created 1, 2, 3 folders inside my bucket, and I uploaded a file in that folder number 3. So you can see how my URL is looking like. It is bucket name first, folder 1, folder 2, folder 3, and the file name. So here, if I want to differentiate about the bucket and the key, so let's copy it fully. From here, AWS point of view, bucket name is this, and apart from everything, apart from bucket, it's a key. So this is your object here, space is there, okay, but this is your key, bucket key, and this is your object now, not this one, not a file. Now this is whole path or whole key is your object. Does it make sense? What is key and object? Basically, it's a pointer where your file is there. Okay, so in if you have gone with the C or any low level languages, you might have know the pointers where your file are stored in your memory. So that is how the bucket and objects are worked here, and we say object here because we can't read directly file. We require an OS. We require any file system to read the file. In S3, there is no file system. Keep in mind, it's a storage device. That's why we can't directly go and read the file. Okay, are we clear with the object and S3 object, S3 key and S3 bucket till here? Priyanka, are you lost? Okay, so I can create multiple buckets. Now coming to S3, I can create multiple buckets here, just like I can create multiple drives, right? In each bucket, I can store X number of files, infinite files. I can store infinite data. You can see the size right now. I can store as big file as I want. I can store any type of format. It can be text, it can be video, it can be audio, it can be PDF, PPT, any file system, any files can be stored in S3 bucket. Okay. So now what are the properties of S3? Okay. It is scalable. Scalable means I can, the size is doesn't matter for S3, right? You can store any number of files. That is why scalable. Data availability. Okay. Now we talk about availability zone, AZ. So whenever you store a file in S3, Amazon replicate that file in all minimum 3 availability zone. So our this bucket, where we created this bucket in Mumbai region, right? Okay, assuming that Mumbai has 3 availability zone. So your file is copied in all three AZs. Does it make sense? That's why whenever any disaster happen, any connectivity issues happen, you will able to access your file. There will be always a minimum one copy available to you, so you can access the file. So that's why Amazon says we have data is always available. Security, as you know, your data center, the if Amazon has created a data center, the security is always maintained by Amazon. So any attack on your file won't happen because Amazon stored that file in object format. So it is very less chances that any external people can come and attack on your file. So that's why security is very high because the data is stored in object format. And performance. Okay, performance, you can directly go and download this file very easily depending on your internet speed. Data is always available, highly performance, because you this S3 bucket you can use in Amazon with any other services as well. As we go in further, you will get to know, like I can pull this data in my EC2, I can pull this data in Lambda, I can pull this S3 files in any of the computing devices or services. So, and second thing, the bandwidth. inside the AWS is in GBs. So if I want to copy this S3 file in some other region or in is inside EC2 also, na, it going to copy in within seconds because the bandwidth is very high. Okay. S3 provide provide IT provision developer and IT team with secure, durable, highly scalable object storage. Yeah, we have already talked about this. It's really easy to use with simple website interface, and it allow you to store and retrieve any amount of data from anywhere in the world. Okay, you can store any type of data and you can retrieve from anywhere in the world, just like Google Drive. Okay, in Google Drive you have this limitation of 15 GB, right? First 50 GB, 15 GB is free, but here you can store infinite, but you are paying according to the uh, S3 pricing. Okay, so I will go AWS S3 price. Price sheet is there. Okay, so this price sheet, let it load it. Safe place to store your files. Okay, it is object based storage. Data is spread across multiple devices and facilities. I have already told you it is stored in multiple AZs. Okay, see, first 50 TB data per month. What is the charge? 25 pass 25 0.025 per GB. Let's calculate it in an ANR. 1 rupee. Okay, 1 GB per 1 month. I think right now almost 2 rupees. Okay, okay. Multi want to store 100 GB. Okay, I am paying 100 rupees only. Okay, for 100 GB I am paying 100 rupees, 200 rupees. Standard. Okay, uh, there are more classes. Next topic is that only. Let's see in INR. Wow, that is nice. S3 provide multiple storing classes. 400. I'm paying 15 rupees. Okay. In S3 we have different classes. I will going to talk about. But if I choose lower version of S3 for 100 GB per month, I am paying 15 rupees storing. Okay. So depending on the usage, depending on the classes of S3 you are paying. So we have, I think, 7 classes standard. Okay, till now I think it's clear how we are storing, how the calculation of the prices are done. Okay, basics of S3, object basis. Okay, the file size, you can store 0 byte file to 5 TB of a file. Single file you can upload till 5 GB. A single file can have a size of 5 TB. That is what it can. Unlimited storage, you can put 5 TB of file any number of times. Okay, so there is no problem with the space, but a single file can have up to 5 TB and from 0 byte. This is again a question generally asked: what is the minimum size of file can a S3 can upload, or the maximum file size? So it is a maximum file size is 5 TB single, but there is no upper limit of the total number of files or size. Okay, files are stored in buckets similar to S3, similar to drives, right? We have created drive in our local, right? S3 name should be universal namespace across AWS. So I said AWS maintain S3 name. They have some their own algorithms. So the bucket name should be unique. So if a name is used by in my account, same name cannot be used in other accounts. Not in my in single account, it means globally. So today, assuming that AWS has 1,000 customer and each customer is creating at least 10 buckets. So there will be 10,000 unique name created. Unique name. As we go further, you will understand why the unique name are created, because Amazon also hosts website on S3 bucket. So it require uniqueness of the bucket. When you upload a file to S3, HTTP 200 success code is thrown. Okay. So I think everybody know uh, error code and success code when we try to access any website. What is HTTP protocols? When any error occurs, you get 404 error, right? When any website is down, you get 404 error, 503 error. uh, when the system talks with each other, they talks in binary. And the binary, if you following any protocol, there are multiple protocol, SMTP protocol, uh, and FTP protocol are there. So when these protocol are working, they share the unique code. It can be success code, it can be failure code, but there are codes which are shared between the servers. So whenever you put a file, whenever you are using HTTP protocol and you're transferring any file or you're transferring any message and it is received successfully, you will get 200 message code. Okay. When you get any error, your server is not connected, you will get 403 error, right? So in HTTP, you will get 200. So this is again a question which is very commonly asked in exam. When you upload a file, what and it is successful in the S3, what type of code is displayed? It is 200. And it is through command line basically. When I use a command line here, and if I try to upload a file, so it will give me 200, success code 200. I will show you this thing. Okay, let me remind, when we work on Lambda now, I will show you Lambda or EC2. Okay, when we work on Python code. So whenever we put a file in S3 bucket, to check if the file is successfully uploaded, you will get an response code as 200, right? Just keep this in mind. Okay. Built for 99.99% availability. So your data will be available. Always. Okay. Amazon give 99.99 percentage surety. Your data will be available. Okay. So Amazon guarantee 99, your data will be 99.9 available. Okay. Amazon guarantee that 9.9 11 nines durable. Okay. Hmm. So what is mean by durability and availability? Means when you log into any S3 bucket, means you will always will be available. Available means you will able to access the S3 bucket always. Means right now, just like in Google Drive, your data is always available there, right? But there is always connectivity issue. So 99.99 times you will able to connect to your data. But durability means is my file is going to loss. Okay. So Amazon provide 9.999999 times that your data will be not going to be lost. For example, you add 10 million files, means 1 crore files in S3 bucket. Okay. So in 1 crore files, there is a chance that you only lost one file. See, with your availability, you could occur a single object in every 10,000 years. This is what the Amazon says, or take guarantee that your file is not going to lose. That is why it is said that in storing a file into cloud is more secure than storing into a local, because it's replicated 3 times in different servers, and it is very less chance that your data will or any file will get lost if it is stored or it is moved to S3 successfully. After moving successfully, it is very rare that it will going to be get lost because of any disaster happen. That durability is ensured by Amazon, and it is 11 time 9. 11 time. It is a interview question. It is not directly asked in exam, but do keep in mind. Okay. Storage type available, always available. Any type of storage you can do. Lifecycle management. Lifecycle management basically, what in many companies the old data are moved to archives. So your data will old data means right now 2020 is going. As you move to 21, 20 data of 2020 will be moving to your archive database, right? So they will move to some they will zip the file and put it to the cold storage where the data is less accessible. So you can manage that thing. You can ask the you can tell the Amazon that the data which is older than 1 year, just move it to the archive. Amazon will automatically move that data. You don't have to do anything. You just have to create a template lifecycle. As per the lifecycle, your data will be automatically moved to the archive section. Okay, so you can create that. S3 provide that feasibility. I will show you. You can see the lifecycle rules. Use lifecycle rule to define an action on your S3 to take during an object lifecycle, such as transition object to another class cycle, archiving them, deleting them over the specific period of time. Even you can delete the files also. Like like there are many company put log files or system files generated, error files. Many company put their files that type of files. Error file or log files or system files are required for 6 months only generally, or assuming moreover 1 year. After 1 year, you don't require that file. Many companies delete that file, so that is also possible. You can delete that files. Okay, so that is maintained by our life cycle. Versioning and encryption. So versioning and encryption. Versioning, I can create version of the file. You are a developer. You create a code. Your code has a version. Or when you go to any software you're downloading, just like VLC, latest version, you have the versions of the code, right? Or version of your player. Today the first version got released. Tomorrow the next version got released. Similarly, files has version. Okay, so some company use S3 to store their files or code. Basically, the codes which are used in big bucket. Git Git is the versioning storage, right? You can get old code also, new code also. So similarly, same feasibility is given by S3. You can have same file but have different version or code. Is it clear what is versioning? I will come to versioning again. I will show you how versioning is working. But is it clear what is versioning? Sure. Encryption. Encryption is basically you are encrypting your data. I don't think I have to explain that. You can store your data simple without encryption. You can encrypt your data. You can ask Amazon to encrypt your data. There are so many different ways. Further, I will go and I will explain you how the encryption is done in AWS. Few more things. Data consistency. Okay. So now we will go in the more property of AWS S3.